Hi all, this is Skate, and this is the P.43 the anniversary edition tank. And the idea behind this video is I want to try and help people decide whether or not they want to sell it or not to sell it. That's basically the gist of it. Now obviously we're going to discuss the tank in some depth, and I've got some nice replays for you. But for those who don't know, you can sell this tank if you want to for 1,250 gold. Now for someone who's free to play, to get this tank, it kind of might put them in a sticky spot. They might be in a circumstance where they're like, it's a free tier 6 premium, it's a good free tier 6 premium, but also you can sell it for gold if you want to. So it's free gold in essence. So that's what I want to try and focus on. Is it worth selling or is it worth keeping, basically? Now I've been playing this tank quite religiously actually. I think I'm coming up to 100 games already. And I was trying to decide whether or not I wanted to keep it or sell it for myself. And I've got to be honest with you, I didn't realise I played that much. And because of that, I kind of went, that's kind of my mind made up. It kind of tells me that I should be keeping it. But just because I've played it loads doesn't mean that's the be-all and end-all of it. I mean, you've got things like a Cromwell B at tier 6, which really do still rule the roost. But then the other thing you need to consider is this thing will face quite often tier 7 mediums. There's a lot of tier 7 mediums packing 3,000 DPM. Now when one of them comes at you, you can't run away from it. You can't out DPM it. And it puts you in a bit of a sticky situation with this tank. So there's many things to consider. What premium tanks you've already got, whether you're a collector and you want to keep it for the fact it's an anniversary edition, and whether or not you can deal with the fact that it's going to be in certain situations it just cannot get out of. But that applies to a lot of tier 6 tanks. I mean, for me, I've actually just checked. I've said coming up 100 battles. I've got 157 in it already, which is a bit stupid really, but that proves that I've enjoyed playing it. That being said though, I still don't have... my stats in this are not comparable to something like my Cromwell B. I've got a 70% win rate in this. In my Cromwell B, it's 74%. I've got an extra 200 damage per battle on average in my Cromwell B. My kills per battle are higher in the Cromwell B. My spots are much higher in the Cromwell B. All in all, the Cromwell B, as an example, performs better. But then from the other side of it, I perform better in this than I do my M4A3E8 Fury. I should have just said Fury, but yeah. Actually, tell you what I have just spotted, the P.43 BIS, which, comparable on paper, is not as good. Yet, personally, my statistics, I've got 77% win rate in that over 100 battles, so I've actually done 7% better in that than I have in this. My win rate is the only thing different there. My spots of it, well, I've got a much higher spot rate as well, actually, but my average damage is the same. That's interesting. I wasn't expecting that, to be honest, because when you compare these two on paper, this just outclasses the P.43 BIS. That surprised me, actually. Obviously, the premise of this video is explaining whether or not to keep it or to sell it, and explaining how basically this is a power creeped P.43 BIS. But only just spotting myself that I've performed better in the P.43 BIS. I don't know why, but there we go. One thing I always like to do is compare my stats in one tank to all my other tanks of that tier and type, because it gives me a comparative for me how I'm performing in comparison to my others like that, and it helps you make a decision whether or not it's worth selling or keeping. But yeah, that's I wasn't expecting that, and like I said, it kind of screws up the premise of the video, and actually is backwards logic, because this is a better tank than the P.43 BIS in the tech tree. So that one stumped me a little bit. Yeah, we're just going to put that down to RNG, okay? Otherwise, this video's screwed. Genuinely, though, it is a better tank. I mean, if you compare in stats, the gun is exactly the same, except for the fact that this has a slightly better aim time. 2.08 in comparison to the 2.17 aim time of the standard tech tree one, which is the same as the Cromwell B, actually. Mobility is 5 kilometers per hour better than the P.43 BIS, and it's got more engine power, thus it's got a better acceleration, And it has much better Tractiverse than the Tier 7 and the Tier 6. It's also got better camo value, which, again, just goes towards the whole power creep thing. But in terms of mediums at Tier 6, it's not the best in terms of mobility. It's good. It's pretty good, actually, but it's not the best. What I want to talk about this tank, though, and this is why I'm probably going to be keeping it myself, is what makes the tank shine is its playstyle. It's different to a lot of mediums at this tier. Most mediums at this tier pack like, what, 160 alpha gun. This is packing in 225 alpha, which does mean you alter the playstyle. That being said, it kind of also limits you to a peek-a-boom playstyle with other mediums, because they fire faster, they do more damage quicker. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think this tank performs brilliant at that peek-a-boom against other mediums, because when they hit you for 160, or potentially bounce off your turret or your side, as you're going to see here, you'll be packing in 225 shots on them, which really can make a nasty difference. Now, it's the armor, though. It's really good. I was very surprised by this. Like I said, it's got that extra 20 mil on the turret in comparison to the Tier 6, which is actually the same as the Tier 7. But I like to try and side scrape in this thing as well. I like to use the 7 degrees of gun depression just to poke the turret. And it's surprising how many bounces you can get from playing like this. Because at this sort of angle, you are hard to penetrate. The turret, when you're facing it forward, will be hard to penetrate. The side will be hard to penetrate. The only thing I'd say is you've got 2 corners, which, when you're side scraping like this, are easy to penetrate. So as long as you keep moving back and forth, or you don't sit still while they're about to shoot at you, then in theory, you will bounce quite a lot. But realistically, when you're playing this thing, these are the 2 ways you have to play it constantly. You have to be trying to use the full max 7 degrees of gun depression at all times, or if you're not, you need to be trying to side scrape it up. I know some people are going to go, what, you're side scraping a medium? But I'm telling you, it works, it really does. But my default is to try and use gun depression, and to try and hide everything except the turret. The one thing I will avoid is a one-to-one with another medium tank in the open. Medium tanks like to brawl. Medium tanks do like to push you so they can brawl with you. I'm not a fan of that in this tank, because, like I said, it does lack the DPM in comparison to a lot of its counterparts, but it makes up for that with that 225 alpha. So if a medium is pushing on you, I would personally say back it up, try and reverse down a bit of a ridge so you're using your gun depression and hiding your hull. It's what I'm trying to do with this T29 here. I'm trying to hide everything about me except the turret. And that's basically the gist of where I go with the tank, literally 24/7 when playing it. Except here, it's the very end of the game. I want to try and farm the last bit of damage. I'm being a little bit lazy trying to get off that last bit of damage. It's one of those scenarios where it's pretty much, yeah, we're almost guaranteed to win at this point, so you become a little lazy as a result of that. But even so, I would still recommend never being as stupid as this and just becoming lazy at the end of a battle, because you think you're going to win, because that can backfire in so many ways. There's so many scenarios where we've been, oh yeah, that's easy win. Oh wait, what? Damn, it's 1 versus 1 now. Where's the rest of my team gone? Or, oh, I died really easy. That was an issue. So yeah, don't become lazy at the end of a battle. Bit rich for me to say, considering I've just done it, but there we go. Right, in terms of the tank, I'm going to be keeping it for now. Obviously, I've played a fair few battles in it already. I've really enjoyed playing it. It does churn out some pretty nice credits as well for a Tier 6. So like I said, I won't be selling it for now, but if you need gold, or even in the future, to be honest, if I didn't want to spend money at the game, but if something came into the store I wanted, I could turn around and look at this thing and go, haven't played it in so long. It's a nice little savings account of 1,250 gold tucked away in it. Buy something nice from the store you might use with it instead. So yeah, all in all, guys, it is a good tank. And I would suggest, if you don't have many premiums, to keep this. And if you do have many premiums, you might find it collects a bit of dust, and there's no harm selling it in the future as a result. But yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.